with the lowest ratings in the history of the United Kingdom, has announced his resignation. In an emotional resignation statement from Downing Street on Monday, Sir Keir said he would bow to pressure from Labour MPs with good grace and trigger a leadership contest. The election would take place this summer, allowing a new Prime Minister to be installed by September the 1st.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
All the way from Wales, we've talked about these several times, that Keir Starmer is set to resign, but it's finally taking place today. Bishop Keir, you're very welcome to the program, sir.
We've had more prime ministers in the last 16 years than Jamaica had in the last 66 years since it became an independent nation. So this is not necessarily a moment for jubilant praise, because we have traded politically the frying pan for the fire. What I now look to is who's going to emerge to challenge as the contenders for the leadership contest. I've heard through the grapevine that the former Defence Secretary John Healey probably has 81 signatures if he wants to throw his hat into the ring. I doubt that the former Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, would be a significant contender, nor that he would have the required 81 signatures to stand. And then, of course, we've got everybody's favourite mayor, who seems to think that being mayor of Great Manchester is qualification for running the country. He's had no real political tests in Parliament. So I'm talking about Andy Burnham, of course. So I'm rather speculative and reserved about what happens now, rather than accepting the fact that we've seen another prime minister resign.
Well, Londoners have had a lot to say about Keir Starmer's resignation. I want us to listen to Londoners. What were their thoughts and reactions?
I'm glad, really. Just needed a change. I think, like most of the country, are probably just feeling the same way as what I am. Like, all you're hearing is like how much of a bad job he's doing. And I didn't want to vote Labour in the first place. But I'm just worried it's going to be out of the frying pan and into the fire now, with potentially this Andy Burnham coming in.
I'm not surprised. I think he's done the right thing. I think he needs to step aside and let someone else take over. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think Andy Burnham might be a good idea. I think give him a chance. Can't be any worse than anyone else that's tried. And I think he's keen, so I think enthusiasm is important as well. So, yeah.
Well, I think it's good because I'm living here 18 years, and since I came over here, this country was beautiful. You could work, live, do whatever you like. Right now, you just work like slave, and you don't have money for nothing. I'm a hard-working labourer. I work in construction site, and it's really, this country went down for since a couple of years already.
To be fair, I'm a bit happy, but I don't know how the next guy's going to be. I forgot his name now, from Manchester, Andy, but I just wasn't happy with some of the things he was doing, so hopefully we can have a bit of a change now going forward.
Probably a good idea with the way things are going at the moment. His party's not behind him, so if I was in position, yes, I would probably resign as well. So
that's the word on the street from Londoners. They are saying they are happy that Keir Starmer has resigned, looking forward to a change. Lembit Topic is joining me now. Lembit, you're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me on this very important day for probably global politics.
It is indeed, and Lembit, we discussed this last week, Friday, when Andy Burnham won the Macclesfield by-election. We said he's actually on the path to number 10 Downing Street. The speech he gave seemed as a pitch to become the next Prime Minister. And then a few days later on Monday, Keir Starmer gave a very tearful and emotional resignation speech at the steps of number 10 Downing Street.
In terms of the tears that we saw, it's quite obvious that Keir Starmer's upset. And I don't want to seem ungracious about this, but where was that feeling when people were begging him not to take our freedoms away? Where was his feeling when Christians all over Britain were saying, stop persecuting us, stop promoting Islamic traditions above ours? Where was Where were those tears for all those people who have died in wars that he has sponsored or supported? A lot of people I know have said, in fact, everybody who I've spoken to today has said he's only crying for himself. And he's crying because he's embarrassed and humiliated and he didn't want to leave. And let's be honest, he wouldn't have left if he hadn't been forced out by the collective mood of the country. Keir Starmer is crying not because he resigned, but because he was fired by the Labour Party and by the nation. That's really what's happened here.